Joker, are you on the PlayStation home screen or are you in the game?
Hmm?
Are you on the PlayStation home
I'm in the
screen
game,
or...
nigga.
I can't see.
Just give it a moment.
Broadcast not in progress.
Yeah.
What you fired for? Still in progress. Go back out and oh, what the fuck? It says it loads up to 100% and then the screen just disappears.
Is you watching?
I can't see it on my PlayStation. Oh.
You trying to do it on your PlayStation? I thought you was trying to do it on your phone.
And I am now. I'm on my phone. I'm looking at you. I'm like 10 seconds behind.
Let me mute you, cause you gonna hear me, right? Alright. Hold on, Jalen. Okay. This is your research center. And, oh, you're texting me if you can't really hear me. This is your research center. When you register bounties, you always want to be clicking bounties you're going to do. Like, I'll always be collecting plants, elder dragons, temper monsters, and I'll be doing investigations. This you don't have to worry about. This is your weekly bounty. You don't really have to worry about it too much until it gets to the deadline. Manage investigations. This is how you click on manage investigations you want to do. You choose which one you like. It tells you how to do it. I shouldn't have to explain that. Deliveries is how you get certain stuff like a box upgrade, certain camps, and to get certain camps you gotta go inside of it, and I'll show you how to do that when we go there. Usually when you fight a new monster and you kill it or capture it, go talk to him, because he will update you. And at certain levels, it's, if you look at the top right, it'll show you your scoutfly bonus, all this other stuff. Yeah, it'll show you like your guidance to monster locations, and it will, how high it is will show if it's going to be shown on the map, like when you first spawn in, because usually it's not. And then you want to always make sure you do your tail rider safari. Well, not really, because you don't have that many research points, so I wouldn't really do this. You'll get to that later. This is your box, you know that. Nigga, where you sell stuff. Hell, you want to make sure you cultivate stuff you're going to use. Like, you'll need to cultivate maybe herbs, no berries. What do you need? Maybe devil light, not really. Honey, definitely honey. Honey and bitter bug is what you probably really need. And then sometimes flash bugs, etc. And then you fertilize it, increases it. That's collect harvest, but I'm not doing that right now. Then you got the Elder Melter.
Oh, there you are.
Basically, I already explained to you the meld items and stuff like that. If you need like max potions, you can meld it. Mega potions, you can meld it. But I wouldn't. You really only need to meld like max and ancient potions because it's hard. They're really hard to get. Where's it at? Farcasters, because I actually need to craft a bunch of these. Okay, I guess I'll use. And then like mega and demon jugs and stuff, I actually need to craft some of these. But yeah, and then you can craft this stuff. This craft mega barrel bombs. You don't have it. You don't need to do it. This for Elder Melter, but Elder Melter you only want to do it for mega, demon, and armor skin, Farcaster, max, and ancient. That's just for regular items, which is considered like these. Now, you don't need to. Hold on. You don't. I farted. You don't need to craft ammo at all. Don't do that. This is how you get like regular items that you probably need and stuff like that. Not for these though. And then this is how you get like. Oh, when did they add this in? Well, this is how you get like items like these that you get from mining outcrops. And this is how you get like certain items that is hard to get, like gems. Gems are like real hard to get, so that's why they cost gold wyvern print. And I got 22 because I've been playing. So it goes up to about every single monster, but this is only for a low and high rank. But you still need them to craft weapons, so they're still usable. That's to Lunistra, all the way to Lunistra. That's the highest. And then Behemoth. Actually. You don't need to fight Behemoth because you don't need, yeah. But, and then when you get to Dragon Bone, or is it Pure Crystal? Pure Crystal, this is all Master Rank. Everything past Pure Crystal is Master Rank, going to the right. This is how you craft certain stuff. You won't need it for this, maybe this, because these are hard to get. And I might do one for it, but I don't really need it. Pure Dragon Blood, it explains it too. So if you don't know how to get it, it will literally explain it to you. Elder Dragon Blood that contains a more potent mix of its mysterious meaning. So it comes from Elder Dragons, obviously. Large Elder Dragon Gem, a giant ultra rare stone that forms inside an Elder Dragon once in a millennial. So it comes from any Elder Dragon. And then this is how you get Anjanath. Future Anjanath. These are the mantles. These are considered gems, but in the Master Rank version. So that goes all the way to Shara, which is the last monster you fight. And then, well, Wrath Glim, technically. But that is easy to get. That drops a lot. But, these are like regular bones from Gildan Lands. See, look, it says, bones obtained from large amounts in the Gildan Lands. So if you ever need this item, you just look at it and be like, okay, then you'll go. Usually what I do, if I need to find out an item, I go like this, go to sell from item box. And I usually go over here. And like that bone, it's like I look here and it will tell you like all your items that you have and how you got them. So if you ever need to get more of them, you can look that way. Or there's an easier way, but it takes time. You go to field guide, and it'll tell you on the side right of how to get that the item. And the stars explains like how frequently it drops. If it has more stars, it drops a lot. But it has like, hold on. You see how rafting and mantle at bottom right, it only has 1 star. That's because it drops hard. And now it says you can get it from either rewards or carves, but sometimes you only can get it from carving. Like perfect example is Otogaron. His mantle, you only can get it if you carve him. You can't get it from the reward. But that's like if you do let's say you do like a regular event, it ain't got no, you can't get it from like a drop like this, or if you fight from expedition. But if you do investigation that has rewards like these, where it's brown and all gold, you have a chance of getting it from there. Even if it does say you only get from carving, but investigations, they have a higher chance of getting an item that you want. And usually if you're trying to get a gem, you will want to go for ones that has a lot of golds. And then more of the Elder Melter, you won't really need to know these right now because these are gilding lands. But you can basically just exchange them from other items. But these are from gilding lands. But you don't have to worry about that right now. And then when it comes to gear, it's more of like the skills you get. Alright, right here, this Rajing helmet, it has weakness exploit. You press the D-pad to view it, and you press R1 to see all yours. Because this is my build right now, but I press R1 for these, for like what this comes with. So if I have 2 of his armor piece, I get Mind's Eye Ballistic. You don't really care about that, but if I have 4, I get Protective Polish, which you won't care about. But I get 2 Weakness Exploit, which is hard to put on your builds. And then it comes with a level 4 and a level 1 if you look in the top right. Now it does say versus fire, versus water, versus thunder, versus ice, versus dragon. Now it says that, but you don't really need to pay attention to that because it's really pointless when you need to work about more offensive skill sets. So what would be good? And then there's always the alpha and the beta. Now when it comes to alpha and the beta, it's your preference. So like, let's say you need weakness exploit, but you don't need handicraft, you would get the beta. But let's say you need that 2 handicraft and you don't really have no good jewels, because if you have good jewels, let's say you have a handicraft jewel level 4, which gives you +2 handicraft, you wouldn't need to run alpha at all. And then you also, so you will basically get the benefits of having an alpha but running the beta, and you'll get a free level 1 jewel slot. So it's about how you strategize your build, because if you don't try to pay attention and learn it, you ain't gonna make good builds, because you're gonna be wasting skill sets that can really help you out. And then like Runer Gauntlet, he got like the best build. He's god for 2 sets, because if you see how it says 1 out of 2, that shows where's it at, and then it says 2, you have to wear 2 of his gear pieces to activate that skill. Otherwise it's gonna be unhighlighted like it is now, and it won't be activated. So you regenerate your health as you continue to attack a monster. Cover varies by weapon. Now for dual blades, when it comes to healing yourself, they're like one of the best, because you keep attacking and it's gonna continue healing because you do a lot of attack. In the 2-piece nergy that usually everybody run is the arm piece and the beta piece, because you get 2 agitator right there with a level 4 and level 1. Then you get earplugs too, and a level 4 and level 1. And there's other gears you can get. Now, where's Karen? Because I'm going to show you what free element is. Now, free elemental up. It's a skill you have to have. Now, if your element is not hidden, so let's say this, like your what it says, draws out 66 of your hidden element and spans clip size from any ammo. It won't bring out all of it, so okay, so you see I like paralysis. It's hidden. It's not activated. So it won't be activated at all. So what you could do if you run a non-elemental boost, I mean if you run a non-element, you can run a where the hell is it? Oh, right here. You can run non-elemental boost. Powers up non-elemental weapons you have equipped. Increase the damage. Now I do 1482 attack damage. I'm gonna show you again. In the top right it says I do 141,482 attack damage. Now if I add that, I'm not for sure if it shows it, but it does it. I have 1,555 attack damage now. Non-elemental weapons are really good for all around because look how much more damage I had. I was just at 1,482 and then it made me go to 1,555. That's a lot of goddamn damage. A bonus. Now let's say I need to run I want to run a hidden element on it, which is paralysis, but it can only go to 450. Now if I want to do that, I gotta have free elemental up. Now if I only have 2 pieces on, it will only get out 60% of it. And then it says it spans clip size for most ammo, but I'll explain bow guns when you want to use bow guns. Otherwise I'm not going to explain it right now because there's no point. Now we only withdraw 60% of the hidden element. Now you see how it says 300, but in the beginning it says 450, so it won't draw out all of it. So what I would need to do is get a release jewel. That release jewel gives me my 3rd free elemental up, and now I do 450. And then this is where augmentation comes in. Once you start learning that, if I want to get it higher, it will go up to 480. I don't have that piece because I've been using them, but literally if I want to do that, it'll go 480 and stuff like that. So that's if I want to increase it by more. And then with these you can do custom upgrades. Well, that's only for rarity 10s, and that means it goes slowly but it stacks up, like -9 affinity, -1 affinity, but it gives me +1, but it goes up because you know you already had negative, you don't want positive affinity. So that's what free elemental up is, and stuff like that. And then I don't need to look at this item box no more. That's your palette code. Okay, so and then when it comes to weapons, you said you want to do dual blades. I don't know how I clicked on that. So let's say you want to fight Lunistra. To fight Lunistra, you need ice. So you will want to craft this weapon. Not this one exactly, because this one sucks. So it gives you 270 ice, which is pretty low. The caps for most is like 600, but like half the way is like 300. But it got 350 defense. Now, what you want to do when you want to compare attack, Narragansett got like that one of the highest attack, which is 406. If you look at the top right, it's 406. But since Rajin came into the game, he has the true highest attack, which is 434. So when you want to compare about highest attack, you would go to Narragansett, which is 408. For regular attacks, would be like 370. Those would be the good amounts. 378. And then you want an ice weapon. This one does 350 and it does 270 ice. And it does have 25% affinity. Now, when you get your affinity to 50%, that is considered 100% affinity. Because after you wound the parts with weakness exploit, you do other 50%. But with light weapons, with heavy weapons, it only takes one clutch call attack. When you clutch call on monster and you press triangle, that weakens that part. But with a heavy weapon like great sword, hammer, honey horn, gun lance, I think charge blade, heavy bow gun, it only takes like one time doing it to wound it. But with dual blades, you'll need to do it twice in that certain area to activate the 100%. So when you go for affinity, you're going to want your affinity to be at 50%, but it's only at 25% right now. But this ice weapon is terrible, so you want to find a better ice weapon. You see this, it's not element, but the damage is still low, so you don't want it. This non-element, the damage is high, which is 408, which is pretty high. And you probably want it, but if you go to Acidic Glavinus, he has the highest for non-element and the better stats, because he got a jewel slot for level 4. And the affinity is 0. What was this one at? And then this one is negative 30 affinity. You don't want that at all. So you would never want to run this. Instead, if you're going for non-element, you will want to run this because it'll be better. And this should be a weapon you should actually go for because it gives you a level 4 and it does non-element. But the Rajin does more damage, gives you a level 4, but it does thunder, but it does minus 10 affinity. It will be good, but it's not that good, so you wouldn't want it. And then when you look at sharpness, now you see how his sharpness is kind of bad because you barely got the white. Now you see how this weapon, the sharpness, it goes to white, but it can go to purple. Now if your sharpness is at red, you're not going to do no damage. If it's at yellow, you're barely going to do any damage. If it's at green, you're going to do a decent amount of damage. If it's at blue, you're going to do okay amount of damage. If you're at white, you're going to do good damage. If you're at purple, you're going to do the highest damage you can do. So when you make builds, you always want to try to go for weapons that got high sharpness that you can keep. Now this is where your builds come in. If you're running dual blades, your best bet is to run Teostra 3-piece. You run Teostra 3-piece, prevents your weapons from losing sharpness during critical hits. So when you do critical hits, if your affinity at your weapon is already at 50%, that means you're basically going to be doing 100% affinity, which is going to be like a guaranteed critical hit every hit. So that means if you have a little bit of sharpness on purple, you won't go down when you do a critical hit. And if all your hits are critical hits, you will stay at purple. So if you go back to Acidic Glavinus, your sharpness can probably go to handicraft. Probably go to purple, maybe. It probably can, but if it can, it will stay at purple for a long time. So let's go back to the ice weapon. Now this one is 378. It does 210 ice, but the sharpness is really good. So it goes to purple sharpness. Now you see how, you probably barely can see it, but you see how this white sharpness is kind of like a rectangle square. And if you look a little bit closely to the right, it's purple, but it's like half. It's not even half. It's like a quarter of it. It barely fills up the thing. You will need to increase your handicraft to actually unlock that purple sharpness because it won't really be there because it's only half. It's only like a pinch of it, so it won't really be. It will still be white sharpness. So you won't really need that many handicraft for this one. but you will need a little bit just to get it to purple, and then run 3-piece Teostra technique so you don't lose it. So it has good sharpness, it does good damage, it has regular affinity, 210 ice, a good level 4 jewel slot. But you probably want to see if you can do something better than that. So let's look. You got the BOs. You get level 2 and a level 1. You do 360 ice, your affinity 0, you do less damage, and your sharpness is pretty good. So it got big white. So the other half is not purple. That's next to the white, it's another white. So that means your white will really last long. So in reality, you won't need to run any handicraft jewels. You'll just need to run 3-piece Teostra, because you'll always be at white, and white is good damage. Purple is hard to get. So you wouldn't really want to go for it that much unless you're more experienced and you know you can do it. And you have better jewel slots to do it. Because going for certain stuff really hurts your build a lot, because it's a lot of stuff you need. Like dual blades, it's the easiest to use, but it's like high maintenance. So when I say high maintenance, look, when you get high maintenance and stuff like that, it's hard to use the weapons. And then what weapon you want to use is this Blizzard and Blaze, because you do ice and blast level 2 and has good sharpness and good affinity and good amount of damage. So this weapon was what you want to use against like Ludistra. But that's pretty much it. So pretty much that's really all. It's really about your skills and how you use it. So don't care about what the hell you're doing on your what's it called? It doesn't care about what gears you put on when it comes to skills. I mean, when it comes to fire versus fire, it's just based on what skills they give you, and that's it.